What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. Today, we have a very valuable subject that it is that we're going to be covering. And this is something that I would absolutely recommend that you stay tuned for so that you can learn a lot more about the subject. Because in today's time, there are so many people that are specifically struggling with this specific thing that we're going to be talking about in our today's video. So we are going to be discussing holding on to negative energy. What happens when we are holding on to negative energy? How does this affect ourselves? How does this affect the life it is that we are living? Are we ever able to get out of that and live in a different way and feel better? Okay, I'm going to be explaining some of the things that keep people holding on to negative energy, therefore keeping them in that negative energetic state. And a lot of the times, people are doing this unconsciously. It's a lot more rare that people do it consciously, but people also do it consciously as well. Okay. We're going to be going into depth with this specific subject. And this is something that I would highly recommend that you stay tuned for. And I will simply see you on the other side. Okay, so before we jump right into the subject, let me give a little bit of an introduction on who I am, just so that you know who you're learning from. Okay, I feel like that's important. My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck, studied with planetary energies in association with astrology. And I'm also very aware of trauma and its relationship to the nervous system. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into our today's subject. So we are talking about negative energy specifically. So I'm going to go into some of the things that we could generally consider negative energy. But overall, what it is that we are going to be discussing in this today's video is why people choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, to hold on to negative energy and not let it go and not release it. And then we're going to be discussing about some of the energetic effects that end up taking place within the self for that person and how that then manifests into their everyday life. Okay, so this is something that is important to be aware of and self-reflect on for yourself, but it's also something to be aware of when you are coming into contact with other people to be able to determine if this is what other people are doing as well. Okay, so with that being said, negative energy largely, and first let me start with saying this, negative energy isn't bad. It's not that positive energy is good and negative energy is bad. These are two different energetic charges that both are very important to experience and to feel in balance and in contrast to one another. So holding on to negative energy is just as bad as holding on to positive energy. And when we're talking about being authentic, with the self-development process, what we are then doing is we are flowing and we are fluctuating in between positive and negative energy. This is going to be that balance between that yin and that yang, that masculine and that feminine internally. So, with that being said, holding on to negative energy usually looks like this. So, when someone goes through trauma in their life, this oftentimes imprints certain types of sensations that come with negative emotions within the nervous system. So we have emotions like fear, anxiety, abandonment, loneliness, sadness, depression, um, and all of these different commonly known emotions. We could consider these negatively charged emotions. So, on the contrast, we have joy, happiness, excitement, freedom, optimism, etc. Those are positively charged emotions. So, when someone goes through trauma and then they have these negative, repressed emotions that are then imprinted within the nervous system, a lot of the times, what people do in order to survive that uncomfortable feeling that comes from the trauma is what they then do is they find different ways to escape the feeling of that emotion. And this escape can look like creating a certain fragmentation within the psyche that doesn't acknowledge the emotions, and that would be like a protector fragment within self that literally does not like to visit those feelings and will do anything else and will believe anything else and will try to act in certain ways that are continuously escaping from what is underneath the surface. So, this is one way that we sort of keep these repressed emotions at bay. Then we have other modalities of substance abuse. Any type of substance abuse that we are using from a place of trying to escape what we're actually feeling underneath the surface. Okay. Any form of unhealthy relationships that we have, whether that's intimate partnerships, whether that's family members or friendships, relationships that are continuously, you know, distracting us or are revolved around escaping the self. These are going to be other mechanisms of repressing these negative energies. Okay. So there is a direct connection between repressing this energy through coping in any form, as well as holding on to your darkness or holding on to your own negative energy. So, as we start the process of integration and healing these traumas, one of the first things that we like to look at is we like to look at education on listening to sensations, addressing coping mechanisms so that you create a reality where you're not escaping yourself, and then understanding the importance of feeling your emotions and being with those in an authentic and vulnerable way. So, when we start to address these things, this naturally starts to allow these negative energies, these repressed emotions, to start coming to the surface so that you can feel them, so that you can be with them and sort of go through that deeper shadow work process of dissolving the energetic charge that these things have within your nervous system. And that simply happens by just feeling them, being with them, being aware of them, acknowledging them, accepting them, not trying to change them, not trying to get rid of them, just by being with them while honoring a healthy foundation, literally and naturally, will allow this process to start occurring. And you will start noticing some significant improvements to your mental health and your emotional health, as well as your spiritual and your physical health. These things will start to improve as you honor this process. And this will literally happen for anyone. Like, let me say that one more time. This will literally happen for anyone. You're not special thinking that this won't work for you. This will work for anyone as we honor this process. But this process is not always the easiest thing to honor because a lot of us have formed aspects of our sense of self that are geared around holding on to our own negative energy, that are geared around holding on to our darkness, and in some ways, allowing ourselves to stay there for extended amounts of time without really understanding that this is something that we are doing to ourselves because it's familiar or because it's something that we're used to. So, when you are using a substance or you're using a certain friendship or a relationship to try to escape from something that you're actually feeling under the surface, and you're aware that there are emotions that are under the surface that you're not allowing yourself to feel. So, then you're using the substance. So, then you're using the relationship as a way to kind of completely distract yourself, and most oftentimes distract yourself in ways that are often not healthy. This is why we call it unhealthy coping. Then what happens there is you are literally choosing to hold on to your negative energy. Because if you think about it, choosing to release that energy would be going right into it, accepting it for what it is, and then releasing it as you are allowing yourself to be with it. That would be releasing that negative energy, allowing it to integrate within the nervous system so that then you can start to step into different energy, different states of being. You can lessen that charge of that heavy, dense negative energy, and you can start to open it up to something that is a little bit lighter and more free flowing. That's the ultimate goal that it is that we're wanting to get to. So, in this case, once again, this is a form of holding on to negative energy, especially if you're conscious of it. If you are conscious that you are running away from yourself and you are escaping yourself in these similar cyclical patterned ways, then that is a direct indication that you are consciously choosing to hold on to your negative energy. Now you're doing this because there's still lessons for you to learn in that darkness, but the experience is not necessarily going to be a comfortable one. It is going to come to a point where that negative energy that you're holding on to, yet trying to keep repressed in your unconscious, eventually will start significantly coming up to the surface, and it will then manifest itself for you to face it. So you can imagine it's like kind of like a dam that builds up. And as you're repressing it, the water gets higher and higher and higher on the dam until the dam eventually opens up or the dam breaks. And then you have to face everything. So the goal is we want to have a gradual process of letting water through that dam so that we can integrate it in a healthy way. And once again, find acceptance for it so that we don't have to just open it all up all at once and have it come flooding through in one big round or one big go. We want to kind of like be working with it in a more integrated, harmonious type of way if we can. That's the ultimate goal. So, once again, someone who's aware of this and is choosing to not go into those things, you are then holding on to your darkness, holding on to your negative energy. What are some other ways that people hold on to their negative energy? People will choose to not acknowledge their feelings and be able to express those or embody their feelings in a vulnerable type of way. So, always trying to hold these things in and pretend that you're not feeling, and having to be overly protective all the time, overly in some sort of like a survivalistic type of state where you're trying to be in control. That is also going to be another form of holding on to your negative energy. Now, there's tons of different belief systems and ideologies that people can grab onto that also support holding on to your negative energy. So, when it comes to this concept of good and bad and right and wrong and light and dark and etc., there's a lot of people that end up victimizing themselves as they're living in everyday life. And basically, what they're doing is they're actually scapegoating another entity, scapegoating a community, scapegoating a specific person, an organization, a corporation, etc., whatever it is. They end up scapegoating that person in a way where they are then projecting their repressed negative energy into that person and then saying that this person is the bad guy or this person is not good or they are wrong, so to speak. When in reality, what this person should be doing is they shouldn't be concerned about scapegoating into another person, but rather they should be concerned about facing themselves and realizing the reality that they live in is the reality that they are creating through energetic resonance. So if you are victimizing yourself, scapegoating another thing, then you are creating that as your own reality because you are not willing to face yourself and go into these deeper repressed things that need attention and need love and need to be integrated. So there's all these different forms and mechanisms that people use to either consciously or subconsciously hold on to their negative energy. So, what happens when someone starts to hold on to their negative energy? Well, as I said, this energy absolutely starts to build itself up within the unconscious, subconscious mind. So you think you might be able to repress it and keep it at bay, but in reality, it's actually just accumulating and building up to become something even more powerful or more energetically charged within your shadow. So what happens is now this person carries an energetic resonance that is negative and dense in nature. So, this person, when they start to come into contact with other people, they're naturally carrying a heavy, dense, negatively charged energy field that is not necessarily trying to go into the deeper processing. That is not necessarily an energy field that is a healthy energy field for other people because there's a difference. There's a difference when you're really allowing yourself to go into your shadow and integrate those things with acceptance than someone who's carrying a dense, heavy negative energy that they're continuously trying to run away from. So, once again, you carry this resonance now and you start to project that into other people. But then you also start to manifest other people in circumstances and situations that then are reflecting that same dense, negative charged energy that you're repressing within your own system. So, this is when someone starts to experience a lot of random bad luck or situations that seem to never work out. It's like, I can never get over this hump of finances. I can never seem to pay my rent on time. I always manifest this really obnoxious person in my work environment. I always seem to get into relationships that seem to have these abusive patterns. I always seem to, not be able to be consistent with my health and get myself into some form of a lifestyle that supports me. It's like I always am attracting these things that are not allowing me to be able to kind of move forward or feel good. Now that's the next component is the emotional state of this type of person. The person that represses all these energies and holds on to their negative energy, this is someone that doesn't feel good. Okay. And unfortunately, this is the state of a lot of people. And then some, of course, more than others. But there's a lot of people that are struggling with this. And I can understand why people do. And once again, that's one of the reasons why I do what it is that I do, because I want to be able to support people through these processes so that they can understand what it is that they're experiencing and hopefully take the path to improve these things and walk out of that pain, especially if it's not necessary, which it's not. Okay. So once again, these types of people, they don't feel good. So not only are you then in resonance for a bunch of dense negative energies and circumstances and relationships and all those things, but you just don't feel good either, which makes complete sense why you wouldn't feel good because you're repressing everything. So not only are you manifesting this type of reality, but you just don't feel good. So you're robbing yourself of being able to experience life from a more so healed inner child where there's more adventure, there's more curiosity, there's more love, there's more joy, there's more being in the present moment, there's more excitement. All of these wonderful things that are connected to the inner healed child. You're robbing yourself of all of those attributes and this ability to view the world that we live in and view other people. You're robbing yourself of that if you're choosing to hold on to your darkness in any of these ways that we just described. Remember, it can be through substance abuse, unhealthy relationships, belief systems, an inability to be vulnerable with your emotions and allow yourself to feel. Okay. It can be, once again, belief systems, ideologies that you're attaching to that further prop up the reason why you're suppressing what you are. So these are the things that you can expect and that you want to be aware of. Now, if you're someone that's holding on to your negative energy and you're listening to this, or if you know someone that's holding on to their negative energy, what you can start to do is you can start to be hopefully a lot more aware now of these mechanisms that are happening underneath the surface so that you can start allowing yourself to release that attachment and to release the need to hold these energetic, to hold these negative energies when it's not necessary to hold them. Okay. So, what you can start doing for yourself, if you're experiencing this internally, is you can just start allowing yourself to feel those emotions and sensations and memories from the trauma that are underneath the surface within your nervous system. And you can allow yourself to start feeling these things by working on your foundation. So, honoring your sensations, honoring your coping mechanisms, looking at the unhealthy coping mechanisms and pulling back and then introducing healthy ones, honoring education on emotions and the importance of what emotions actually are and how they function in your body, and then letting yourself have permission to feel these things without needing to like hold up a certain identity or a certain image. What are people going to think of me? Am I going to be taken advantage of if I do this? That's why we remove the unhealthy coping mechanisms. We create that safety for you to be able to be vulnerable with your feelings and then honoring that, right? So when you go through this process, you're naturally going to start facing your shadow. This is something that you don't have to think about. It's something that you don't have to try to control and push deeper into necessarily. It's something that will literally naturally start occurring. The only things that keep people from facing themselves and going into their own negative energies to be integrated is people's attachments, is people's decisions to escape themselves and run away. And people can sit there all day long and say, I've been through this trauma and I've been labeled with this disorder. And this is the reason why I'm not able to face myself. And it's like, no, that is not true. You always have the ability and you always have the power to go into aspects of yourself that are wounded and that are needing your attention. There is no such thing that is keeping you from being able to do this in a healthy way. And once again, no matter what, you can go through that letting go, dissolving, and death process, even if there's unhealthy people in your environment, or even if there are things that are going on that you can't control at the moment. Because when you allow yourself to fully dissolve and let go and still feel the emotions, that is going to change your energetic resonance by basically cleaning out those built up blocked energies from the trauma in the past. And then it's going to reflect in the environment to then give you an opportunity to exist in an environment without an unhealthy, without unhealthy people. So it will eventually work itself out. Whereas when it comes to substance abuse, that's something you're in control of. So you can wean yourself off of that whenever you decide you're ready to do that. So this process can absolutely work for anyone. And as you're honoring it in this way that I'm discussing, you are then going to be integrating these deeper roots from the trauma stored in the nervous system. You're going to be feeling them, which is not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable, but you can find an acceptance within that process, and you can find a deep peace in surrender. And what you're also going to notice is there's going to be a lot of aspects of your identity and who you think you are and what you think you were that are going to start kind of dissipating and dissolving. And that's very natural as well, because underneath the ego or the identity, you are a soul that has its own natural expression that can never be destroyed, that can never be taken away from you, that's always infinite in its existence, right? That's the beauty of surrendering to this deep shadow work process. And then as you're dissolving everything, once again, you're letting that negative energy release itself from your system. You're integrating these wounded parts of you that were hurt, and you're healing that inner child. And then you're getting to a point where you're starting to drastically change your energetic resonance. So your literal resonance, your energetic field starts drastically changing because you're no longer holding the negative energy by trying to get away from it and storing it within the unconscious. So your resonance changes drastically. And now suddenly you start manifesting situations and experiences and relationships that are now a reflection of your new resonance, which are going to be much healthier, much more fun to experience, much more in resonance with some of these healed aspects of yourself. Okay. And all of this energetic resonance change and stuff that shifts in that way is also connected to a different state of being that you're going to gain access to through this process. So this comes down to the death and the rebirth cycle of the spiritual evolution of a human being. We go through ego deaths, whether you're conscious of it or unconscious of it, just to dissolve or learn how to better let go. And then a new sense of self comes through with new neural pathways within the nervous system that then resonate at a different frequency or resonate at a different level. And that is what changes your reality. It's what changes your life. And you can work with these new aspects of yourself that are resonating at we could say a higher level to further ingrain that and wire that within your nervous system. Just like you can completely surrender and go very deeply into your shadow and very deeply into your unconscious to completely let go of and completely be with these deepest wounds that you have in your system and surrender to that process of what does feel uncomfortable, but then, allowing yourself to understand that that's very healing to the system. And then you can find peace there and you can understand that beautiful dance between death and life within your development process and within your system. So this, once again, is why we don't want to hold on to negative energy, because this is absolutely going to affect every other area and aspect of your life. And when it comes to spirituality and the occult side of things, when we look at the demonic realm, when you're holding on to negative energy, you are now attracting demons or attracting demonic entities that are now designed to show you what you're holding on to, because you're going to be in resonance with those energies unconsciously. And those energies are designed to show you the value of negative energy, but not by holding on to it and repressing it. So they're going to manifest certain things and help to create certain things within your life through your awareness, through what's going on, to cause you to let go of what you're attaching to, let go of what you're holding on to. And that's the beauty of the demonic realm that a lot of people don't really understand. Okay. So that is the essence of our today's video. This is exactly what it is that I really wanted to talk about. And I think it's very valuable. So I encourage you as a listener to really soak in this information and use it to your advantage. If you find yourself around other people that are really holding on to their negative energy, you have the right to not have to be engaged with them. You have the right to not have to be around them all the time if you have that ability. So if you have the ability to let those people go, then let them go. If you find yourself in an experience or in an environment where they're around you and you can't really do anything about that, then it's just a clear indication that you kind of need to be with it and you need to dissolve more. You need to let go more. You need to feel the energy of kind of what they're projecting to you because it's going to be a reflection of something in you as well. And then you can just surrender to that and dissolve to that and let things change in that way. And then if you find out that you're the person doing it yourself as you're listening to this video, I encourage you to start that process of working with your deeper unconscious and not holding yourself in your own hell to have to stay there and live there your entire life because you don't have to. And it doesn't matter what you've been through, you can heal and get to a point where you feel good in life. All right. So with that being said, this is going to wrap it up. If you got value from this video, hit the thumbs up button. That lets me know that you got value from this. Drop down into the comment section and let me know exactly what you've learned from this as well. I would absolutely love to hear your perspective on this and your personal experience with this as well. Hit the notification bell and get notified whenever I'm posting this content because this is valuable stuff that we're talking about and I post every other day. So take advantage of the intuitive content that I'm releasing. Hit the subscribe button because by subscribing, you are further energetically connecting to everything it is that I'm doing. So take advantage of that as well and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now, also, if you know someone that would gain value from this, if someone comes to mind right now as I say that, I encourage you to copy and paste the link of this video and send it to that person that comes to mind. Okay, I encourage you to do that. Now, I'm going to take your awareness to literally the most powerful link in the entire YouTube description. This is going to be my Patreon. Now, on my Patreon, I have over 260 plus videos that are exclusively for the Patreon members only. There's over 1,000 members that are signed up to the Patreon, and it's continuing to grow. And that alone speaks for itself. Okay. So with the Patreon, I have different collection sections that are organized that you can study from. Anything from deep occult knowledge, Kabbalistic initiation education, ritualistic practices that I perform on camera and then teach you how to do yourself, stuff in regards to nervous system regulation and education on trauma and even how trauma relates to the occult, right? These are the things that I have documented and sectioned on the Patreon. So if you're interested, definitely look into it. Tier number 3 and 4 is extremely exclusive. This is a ritualistic service, which is the only ritualistic service that I personally offer for my collective. It is the only one. This is what's called the Universe B Vampire Ritual Service. And first thing first, this ritual service isn't meant for everyone. This is meant for people that are willing to do this deeper work, that are willing to go into their shadow and integrate some of these repressed emotions and some of these sensations and feelings and revisit these memories. This is for the person that is willing to do that work and is also willing to connect with some of the darker demonic energies that exist within our universe at large. And these energies will be supporting that process. Now, if you're that person that's in resonance with these things, then this service is absolutely for you and absolutely can support you through your initiatory journey. Okay. It's an energetic transfer from me to you as the participant. So all the life experience as well as initiatory experience I have, I transfer into you to support you energetically through these processes that we're discussing, these deeper shadow working processes so that you can fully merge with your shadow and understand that true nature of being, which is the no being. And then basically step into your power or step into your authenticity with that. Okay. So I also cause some energetic changes to take place to the energy field to make the person more receptive to dark matter energy as well as chaos so that you can integrate it in a much more effective way. And it can even get to the point where when you interact with someone who is operating from their false self, you can actually pull in that energy to yourself, turn it into your own evolutionary potential, and then simultaneously leave that person in a position where they now have to feel what they were repressing or they have to feel their emotions under the surface. So at the end of the day, it ends up becoming a win-win situation. Okay. So, with all that being said, if you want to do more research on this vampire ritual service, I have an entire playlist that breaks all that down on my YouTube channel. So, go to my playlist section, take a look there if you're interested. All right. With that being said, we're going to wrap it up there. Second link is where you can book a one-on-one call with me if you would like to pick my mind. There's certain things that you want to talk about, if you want to get to know me a little bit better, whatever that is, you can book your one-on-one call there. Now, also in that same second link, you can book a mentorship with me. This is literally going to be the most intimate way to personally work with me. And we're going to be addressing all of these different foundational keys. We're going to be going into trauma together. I'm going to be educating you on the importance of integrating trauma and with all those different pillars of the foundation. And what that's going to do is it's going to set up energetic circumstances for you to start regulating your nervous system. And then when that happens, then we can start moving into some of the occult initiatory things to then support that development process if that's something that you're interested in. Okay. So all of that's in the second link below. Now, also in the same second link below, you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She is a very intuitive and gifted tarot card reader that can help you better understand your internal process for where you are now and how to better align with it, as well as what to expect as you're moving into your near future. Now, she'll also be connecting it back to the Kabbalistic tree to give you some extra insight on some of these different spheres and archetypal paths that you're also working with in regards to your development process. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, at that second link is where you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. Now, in the third link, this is going to be what's called the LUCIFERS Foundation course. This is an extremely powerful, valuable course if you're someone that is looking to develop a healthy relationship with the energy that is known as Lucifer. This gives you 11 modules that you will have access to for the rest of your life that literally tells you exactly what to do step by step to develop this healthy relationship with Lucifer. So if you're interested in it, look into it. It's the third link below. Tons of people have already purchased it. People are continuously buying it literally every single day. So with that being said, it is at that third link below. We'll leave it there. Fourth link is the YouTube memberships. So if you would like to join the Universal Mastery family and you want to appear in the live streams whenever I do the live streams and have your name appear with a badge and have it all green, if you just want to be around a group of like-minded individuals that you see pop up consistently, whether it's in the comment section or the live chat sections, I would absolutely love to have you as a YouTube member. So if you want to become one, once again, it is the fourth link in that YouTube video description, and I would be more than happy to have you a part of the community. Okay. Now, in the fifth link below, this is my book recommendations for you. This is extremely valuable stuff here. This is a 4 ebook bundle that you gain immediate access to that gives you the fundamentals of occultism and the tools that you'll need on your tool belt for the rest of your initiatory development journey. Everything from the demons to the angels, the sigils, the brief invocations, the descriptions, the spheres on the tree of life, death, the archetypal paths that connect in between it. All of this very valuable information broken down in an easy to digest way while still maintaining the potency of the knowledge that's inside of it. It's all at that fifth link below. So if you're interested, definitely consider it. With this being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.